Here, where sunlight has never arrived, a blind giant crab walks by the light of microbes it farms on its own shell.
Suspended in the glow of the vents, this giant shrimp hangs where cold death and scalding life meet in a thin layer. Two very different bodies share the same strip of heated stone, one scraping the surface, the other sifting what the current carries past.
From a distance, this oasis is just a bruise of light on the seafloor.
Its world is built from tiny gradients of heat and flow, sensed through glassy eyes and antennae that never stop tasting the water.
Every square of rock is crowded with mouths and claws.
Each life clings to every angle of stone, turning metal-rich water into flesh, shell, and motion in a place the sun never touches.
Zoomed out over kilometers of ridge, the giants shrink into a thin fuzz of life wrapped around a few glowing cracks in the crust.
Without eyes to see the glow, the crab feeds by touch, shaving off thin layers of living film that convert volcanic chemistry into its own muscle. To fill its gut, it must skim the very edge of water hot enough to cook it, trusting that each pass is just shallow enough. Room at the right temperature is scarce, so giants and dwarfs alike are forced into arm's-length compromise instead of open battle.
Beyond the faint circle of warmth, the ridge drops into a zone so cold and poor.
Its shell keeps a tally of past misjudgments, each crack a reminder that a few extra millimeters toward the plume can cost more than a meal is worth.
Between feasts, it must spend long minutes almost still, letting the current do the work of bringing food to a body already pushed near its limits. Every change in the venti's breath redraws the map, forcing each animal to renegotiate where it feeds.
Without eyes or ears, it still feels distant danger through stone, a new rhythm under the constant roar of boiling water. A larger hunter has learned to treat the vent ring like a crowded feeding station, drifting just outside the light where its own outline blurs. To stay away from teeth, they must press nearer to heat and turbulence, trading one kind of risk for another in the narrow strip where they can live at all. From out here, the scene is simple. A ring of food wrapped around fire, and a single shadow methodically testing for a weak point. The shrimp gathers near thicker shells, hoping that being one large body among many will confuse the hunter's aim just long enough. It tests the ring by feinting, watching which gaps open and which animals move first, learning the weaknesses of this strange, crowded buffet. For a while, nothing actually happens, but every passing minute tightens the spring as hunger grows on all sides of the same narrow ring of stone. In a single committed lunge, it cashes in all that patient circling, turning the vent's crowded calm into a sudden storm of bodies and debris. In water this dense and crowded, escape means moving just enough to shift from target to collateral, letting someone else take the full force of the bite.
For a few seconds, careful spacing and negotiated truce vanish. Every creature on the rock is
seen from below. The attack is just a dirty storm boiling out from the lit ridge, a brief eruption of noise in a normally steady night. It pays for surviving with a new fracture, another weak point to carry forward into a world that will keep asking for more payment. Part of its reach is gone. From now on, it will sense less, strike shorter, and pay more dearly for every miscalculation. The hunter leaves with a prize that barely reflects the risk of diving into boiling water, while those it failed to take must live with weaker armor and shorter tools. In minutes, the chaos shrinks back into background noise, leaving only new gaps in the ring.
The leftovers are immediately divided into hundreds of smaller meals, each mouth turning the same stolen energy into a new heartbeat or egg clutch. It cannot afford to rest until healed. Instead, it must rebuild reserves with the same.
It experiments with new patterns, relying more on changes in flow and less on feelers, improvising a way to keep feeding without its former reach. Fresh bodies arrive from above, tiny copies of the giants finding their first footholds on stone already marked by older animals' battles. Energy rises again from the cracks in the crust, laying down fresh films of life that the same battered claws will shave away tomorrow. They return to a wary coexistence, each depending on the same hot breath of the earth, even as they remain potential meals for larger shadows passing by. The pattern that feeds them all reasserts itself, an uneven circle of bodies clinging to hot rock, while the surrounding...
On the scale of the abyss, these giants are only brief flickers around a few cracks.